This is my 03 Nissan 350Z. If you followed the channel for a while, you would have seen it in our intro and probably in some of our Instagram posts. Obviously, something's not right here. But what happened? Let's take a few steps back to find out. What you see in front of you is probably one of the worst examples of what to buy in a 350Z. At $3,000, virtually everything was wrong with this car. But having wanted one of these cars since I got my driver's license, I was bound and determined to have one, even if that meant buying a bottom-of-the-barrel example of a car. At the time, that was all that I could afford, but I got what I wanted, and I had to work for it. As you can see, I replaced almost everything in this car, from interior to painting the exterior with rattle can, and just about every single thing in between. Always being a fan of black interiors, I went ahead and switched out every panel in the car except the dash, which I flocked. I ended up with Grom racing seats and Takata harnesses. About 6 months down the line, the transmission gave up, so I decided to buy a used CD009 and pull the engine and everything out. As you can see, I replaced just about every single suspension component, bushing, bearing, and axle with either OEM equivalents, or even upgraded units. I went with adjustable upper control arms, camber arms, in-links, 370Z hubs and axles. I did a Brembo swap, and the list goes on and on and on. While the engine and transmission were out, those got a full seal replacement. Engine water pump was replaced, timing components were changed out, and everything was given a deep clean. The previous owner had off-roaded this car for God knows how long, and everything was drenched in oil and dirt. Clutch and pressure plate were replaced. A new Z1 lightweight flywheel was installed. I went on to give Z1 Motorsports more money than I care to disclose. For the exhaust, heat wrap was installed, and a crack was discovered in the OEM muffler. I decided to replace it with an invidia N1 system. I threw in a Mishimoto thermostat, Koyo-Rad radiator, and Z1 silicone hose kit. Oh, and I was under the time crunch of preparing for Gridlife South 2019. Every small item was either replaced, rebuilt, or cleaned. A Nismo 380 RS pedal was installed for easier heel-toe downshifting. Next up was to clean all the disgusting dirt and oil from the engine bay and trans tunnel. With only a few days until we had to leave for Atlanta, the engine was reinstalled and the car was completed. Or so we thought. We found out that one of the ears on the block was actually leaking coolant right out of the side. It was pretty devastating and crippling because there was no chance that we were going to pull that, remove the timing covers, and get that job done again in time for Gridlife. So we missed out on that year with the Z. But the next year, we showed up full force to Gridlife 2020 in Colorado. I genuinely had one of the best times in my entire life, and the car was performing awesome. Of course, that was right up until the moment that it didn't. That a used and abused motor finally decided to give up the ghost. What's up guys, David here. I am in front of the 350Z, which hopefully only means one thing to you guys. It means that I have located an engine and I'm about to go pick one up. So I've been searching for quite a while for one. They're actually pretty expensive compared to, you know, at least what I'm used to with Miatas and whatnot. So I managed to find a pretty low mileage JDM one for $1,200. It was more, but I asked them if there's a cash discount. Pro tip, ask if there's a cash discount. A lot of times they'll just knock the tax off. So I am gonna get my keys, hop in the truck, and go over to Arlington and hopefully grab this motor. All right, I need to go to the bank first and grab cash. I'm gonna go run over, grab the cash, and then I'm gonna head over to Arlington, where this JDM Dallas headquarters is, and go in and take a look at the motor. It has 49,000 miles apparently, and like I said, they wanted $1,200 for it. So that's a pretty good deal compared relatively to a lot of these motors that are, you know, like 800, 900 bucks for 120,000 miles, sometimes even more, and they're questionably abused, whereas these JDM motors look to be pretty fresh and usually pretty well taken care of. There's not really a power bump or difference, you know, like a lot of these JDM motors can be over the USDM or their counterparts, so nothing in that regard, but just a good fresh motor, a good solid base to throw in this car, and hopefully have fun with and not have to worry about for the foreseeable future. So let's get into it. I'm about to get the motor loaded up here, but I've got some really interesting stuff. You can see here's a little Toyota Sarah. Never actually seen one in person. This thing's pretty crazy. So, now that you're caught up and you know the full backstory of this car, let's build it better and make it the car that I've always wanted.